Shalom, it's Brother Montezal. I'll do a lesson on being a loyal, faithful servant to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Before I open up, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and Rule. Well, peace and salutations to all you Akim out here that's laboring in truth and sincerity. All right. Basically, the point is down further, but I just, wanted to start at the top, for edification. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, starting at verse 1. He says, "Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily, I say unto you, I know you not. So basically, man, it's talking about, these guys, these unwise men, these unwise virgins, what they were doing, they were being slothful, man. They didn't get built up in the word, man. They didn't get built up in the faith, man. They took it for granted, man. Thinking that the Lord wasn't gonna come. They wasn't being watchful, man. The scriptures say that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our time. When the Lord gave us these talents, we're not supposed to just sit on them. We're not supposed to just bury them. We're supposed to build on it, man. When we first heard this truth, man, we came in, you start studying. You start studying the scriptures, man. You start learning the precepts. And then with that, you go out, whatever you learn, you're supposed to go and teach. That's why the scriptures say wisdom and stability. Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of our time. That's why the Lord told us to occupy until he come. So he gave us plenty to do, plenty to stay occupied in, man. Studying the scriptures, man. Fasting and praying, and teaching this word, man. Meditating. You got to meditate too, so you can get the understanding. The scriptures say in the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 15, study to show thyself approved. I'm gonna read down. He said, but he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. So yeah, basically you gotta be on your P's and Q's, man. Only way you're gonna be on your P's and Q's if you're being watchful, man, of the prophecies, man. You gotta be occupied in prophecy, to even know what the prophecies is, man. To even know the signs and the times, to know what's going on, to know when our Lord is coming. Because we don't know, man. He said, and unto one, Slakia, verse 14, he says, for the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. Kind of right, because what did he give us? He gave us the gospel. He gave us this truth, man. And he said, and unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several abilities, and straightway took his journey. Right. So he gave every one of us a portion, you know. He gave us all a portion to grow in, man. You know, to make it, you know, we supposed to profit it, you know. And he said, Salakia, then he that, Salakia, verse 16, he says, then he that had received the 5 talents, did I skip a verse? No, I didn't, Salakia. He says, then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same and made them another 5 talents. See, he did what he supposed to have did, man. You know, we supposed to be being fruitful in this thing, man. Gathering up the elect. That's the whole purpose, man. Matter of fact, let me go to this is Matthew's, Luke chapter 19. Give me 1 second. It's a particular verse right here. This is Luke 19 and 10. He says, for the Son of Man is come to seek and to save that which was lost. So that's why we out here in these highways and the byways, man. Because the Lord is gathering up the lost sheep through us, man. You know, he came to seek and to look for, you know, the scattered sheep that scattered abroad in the 4 corners of the earth, man. And he got us all set up in the 4 corners of the earth, man, to go out here and do this work, you know, to preach this gospel in the highways and the byways, man. Week in and week out, you know. And also do these videos, man. You know, any way we can call out to the elect. Being occupied until the Lord come, man. Going back to Matthew's chapter 25. I believe we left off in verse 15. Verse 16. He says, then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. And a long time the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoned with them. This is when the Lord coming back to judge. Because the scriptures say too that the judgment will start at the house of Israel. And he said, Slakia, verse 20, he says, and so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Let's go into that word faithful. This is Strong's G 103. The word faithful means trusty, faithful, a person who show themselves faithful in the transaction of business, the execution. It's like the execution of commands, or the discharge of official duties. One who keep his plighted faith worthy or trust. It's like worthy of trust that can be relied on. So that's the mission. That's what we got to do, man. We got to, be faithful unto the Lord, so He can to be relied on. If you're not being faithful to the Lord ain't going to give you, wisdom and knowledge, man. And the way you get the wisdom and knowledge is to man, study to show yourself approved, man, and pray and ask the Lord to give it to you. And if you're not doing that, man, hey, the Lord ain't gonna give it to you. It's just simple as that, man, because you're not a reliable servant. You're being lazy. This is not a work that you can be lazy in, man. It's not just gonna fall out of the sky on you, man. Like you gotta put in work, man. You gotta show the Lord that, hey, I want this. If you don't want it, man, the Lord ain't gonna give it to you. He said, easily persuaded, see, believing, confiding, trusting. In the New Testament, one who trusts in Yahweh's promise, one who is convinced that Yahweh Shai has been risen from the dead, one who has become convinced that Yahweh Shai is the Messiah and author of salvation. Kind. So basically, even you're not going, you can't be a faithful, loyal servant unless you believe. And the way to prove that you believe, you got to produce action. Obedience. An obedient servant, he gonna do what his master tell him to do. And what the Lord told us to do, man, is to occupy until I come. Occupy in what? Prophecy. Occupy in this thing, man. Verse 21. His Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things, and I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents besides them. It's like you. Verse 23. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. And that's what you want. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear, well done, my faithful and loyal good servant, man. You don't want to be slothful in this thing, man. You should be happy to do the work of the Lord, man. He said, I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Verse 24. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee, that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast, Slakia. He said, lo, there thou hast that is thine. So basically, he was being, matter of fact, the Lord gonna go into it. He gonna say it. He said, his Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant. See, that's what it was. That's the reason why he was afraid, to do the work, because he ain't know nothing. He was being slothful. He was being lazy, man. He wasn't investing his talent. He didn't give up his life, to come serve the Lord, man. He stayed in the world, man. The Lord gave him the truth, and then he just sat on it. He was being slothful, man. He said, thou oughtest therefore. Hold on, Salakia. He said, his Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gathered where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which had 10 talents. For unto everyone that hadeth, for unto everyone that hadeth shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hadeth not shall be taken away, even that which he hadeth. So yeah, man, basically, everything that the Lord gives us, man, we're supposed to be faithful and do the work, man. Staying occupied until the Lord come, man. The scriptures say that wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of our time. There's always something to do, whether it's studying and learning, praying, fasting. Actually, that's first. Praying and fasting, studying and learning, doing the work in the highways and the byways, doing your 3 sit-down lessons a week or more if you can. Just stay occupied until the Lord come, man. To hear that, well done, my faithful, loyal, good servant. With that, give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations to all the Akim out here that's laboring in his truth and sincerity. Shalom.